I'm sorry. I'm taking nothing away from this game. Like that defending was so bad that I cannot even objectively say are Arsenal good or not because I'm sorry that like those guys just decided.
I think
You're not
I think
thinking
it's
nothing.
it's
Nothing.
crazy. Nothing. This is fucking crazy, bro.
All right, all
You're
right.
crazy,
That's too
bro.
far. That's too far. First things first. We scored 7 goals in the Champions League away from home, a team that has not lost a single game all season. As much as you want to say it, 7 goals away versus anybody in a Champions League knockout game is impressive, bro.
The question is, am I? You're not proving my point wrong. You just say they haven't lost. I'm saying, was the defending good or not? Because that was diabolical defending.
Okay, so
What about
Olu, can we
Arsenal
say Olu,
defending
can we say this then? Arsenal has 4 of his best attackers out of this game. And
Of course.
you go to, no, hold on. Yeah, you can say how bad PSG were defending, but we went there without our best attackers and scored 7 goals. So here's what you're saying. You have to weigh the two options. If we went there with our best attackers, do you think we would have scored 7 goals? Maybe not. The point is, at the end of the day, these people that played today were clinical enough to take chances on those mistakes and convert them to goals. These are the same players who did not convert those type of mistakes in other games. So if Arsenal is able to convert mistakes into goals, that's part of what football is about. If you make a mistake and I convert it, it counts for me. I'm not going to sit here and take anything away from the players. Calafiori shooting with his weaker leg to score a goal is not something that you see all the time. Declan Rice, shooting with his weaker leg, crossing with his weaker leg to give an assist, is not something that we see all the time. So my point is, even if there's mistakes by the other team, I hear you. PSV's defending is, and this is why cup competitions, right? It's about the one game. It's not about getting points till the end of the season. You go in there, capitalize on mistakes, win the game, and move on to the next game. That's the beauty of cup competitions. So
I agree.
You aren't taking any. Okay, this is very strange because this Arsenal team looks so different than the Arsenal that have been playing this season. Even Osam has been every game. He's saying, "Can Arteta release the shackles? Can he let them forward?" And he did it today. And you're like, "I just take nothing away from the game." I think it's actually crazy.
So let me just explain my point, right? Like when I watched the game, I didn't look at it as Arsenal beating the door down, right? I looked at it as, actually, this is a team that's poorly defended. Like I'll put it this way, it wasn't the same way of playing as we did last season, 2 seasons ago, right? It wasn't like we were just cutting them up. And this is why I said that defending was diabolical, right? If it was like we were just cutting them up, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm unhappy with a 7-1 victory. I'm overjoyed. I'm just going to pump the brakes yet in terms of seeing what this Arsenal team can be, because last game against West Ham, we looked awful in patterns of play. Today we scored 7 goals. Let's see what we do against Man United. Let's see what we do the game after that before I will turn around and go, right, there's a difference in Arsenal.
What you said doesn't correlate with what you're saying now. What you're saying now is you don't want to get carried away. But what you said is you can't take anything away from this performance. I think that's crazy.
That's literally me saying I can't take it away from the game. It's literally me saying that this game, I can't take it away from this game because I need to see further on what happens with this Arsenal team.
One thing you can take away from this game is that PSV is out and we're through to the next round.
Yeah, that is fine.
But also, I will give kudos to the training team, Arteta and his team. Again, the reason I'm saying that is this: we're playing without our best strikers. We all can admit to that. And we try to see him use Merino in a particular way and use other players in a particular way in the middle of the season, in between multiple games. And it just, one of the games paid off, the others did not pay off. And we saw that now that they were not in the FA Cup, which I really wish were still in there, or were not in any other tournaments. And this is the only one that we know that we have. We had a whole week to prepare. They had a whole week to work on those kinks. And you could see it in the pattern of play today. Now, you can sit down here and say, did we really cut them open? Yes, we did a couple of times. We had 8 shots on target and we scored 7, Olu. Now, that is about performing your XG. I agree with you. But the point is, if you make a mistake and I capitalize on it, Timber running to the back post to give a header is something he has not done all season. I'm sure that's something they've worked on, like saying, look, Marino.
Thank you so much.
Like you can pick up on the way they played today and be like, listen, analytically, these are things that, like, Marino was dropping deeper today and Ethan was the one actually playing the 9. If you really look, Ethan was dropping in forward, going to the right, Marino would drop in deeper. And at the end of the day, even Marino's goal came from the right-hand side. That means Marino went to the right and he then dropped back to the middle. So there's patterns of play that you can look at today and say, hey, we study PSV, because this idea that we have to cut every team open. No, you study who you're going to play and play to your strength and against their weakness. And I think that PSV's weakness, right? If you look at them this season, they were 8 points ahead of everybody at the beginning of the season. And later on, they started dropping off. PSV has become a team that just, for some reason, can't hold it down together. And once you score 1 or 2 goals against them this season, it begins to break away. And we see
they're
that,
awful.
Yeah,
They're awful.
No, but that's my point, though. So you capitalize on that. You don't have your best.
Shout out Andrea Perlo, who just joined the stream. Let me just say, Dio, I want to say one thing to what you're saying. Everyone's jumping down Olu, but Olu is spot on in this scenario. This game doesn't tell you anything that you didn't know about Arsenal. This game does not prove anything that we didn't know about Arsenal. I predicted Arsenal to beat PSV. I think the people mainly everyone just praying on Arsenal's downfall was saying PSV are going to beat Arsenal. I never thought that. I said Arsenal are going to beat PSV from the off. As soon as the draw happened, I was like, yep, Arsenal beating PSV. PSV is not a team that I think we can sit up here and make like overarching, conclusions from. It's not like Arsenal. If Arsenal went away, and I'm not even saying 7-1, but if Arsenal went away to the San Siro, to the Bernabeu, to the Wanda, and even won 3-1 or 2-1 or whatever, we can make bigger conclusions from a smaller scoreline because of it's about the opposition. I get it. You had no striker. You played really well in terms of your forward line play. But this begs the same exact question that we asked after the Leicester game. Is this sustainable? Are you going to score 7 goals? No, because the same Igal and the same Dio after West Ham, this is on the board. They didn't get us a striker in January, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't you score 7 goals against West Ham if this is such a perspective of showing you what Arsenal are like? Why didn't you score 7 goals against Everton at home when you had your whole team fit? Why didn't you score 7 goals against Fulham when you had your whole team fit and no controversy? Why did you have 1 shot on target away at Newcastle? What Olu's saying is not crazy. Arsenal Football Club are expected to go to PSV Eindhoven and win. And you did that. And well done. And we're not downplaying your achievement, but it's reality. This is one of the ties in this round. This is like Barcelona-Benfica. If Barcelona beat Benfica 4-1, I'm not going to go like, wow, Barcelona show that they're one of the contenders. No,
but then you're being disingenuous because you yourself have said this just in this short 5 minutes. You said, when we had our full squad, why didn't we score 7 against? Because we were not playing well. So nobody was expecting an Arsenal that is not playing well with 4 of their best strikers out to go to PSV Eindhoven in a Champions League game.
We didn't expect to win 7-1, but we expected to win. We expected to win anyway.
Listen, but nobody expected.
It's actually not true. Actually,
nobody expected this type of performance. Is what I'm saying. Hussam,
people said that Arsenal would go and get a draw and go back home and win it. You expected them to win the tie, not to win away against PSV.
Yeah, I never said that personally, but
nobody expected Arsenal to go away to PSV.
Yeah, but I'm not here to
discuss
other people's opinions. I'm here to discuss my own.
But we're discussing
At the end of the day, I said Arsenal will beat PSV. Did they exceed expectations and score 7 goals, which we didn't expect? Yes.
That's my point.
But this comes back to as soon as Olu opened his mouth, Igal jumped down one side and Dio jumped down one side.
No, I didn't jump down one side. What I said
on Olu. But Olu's saying there is absolutely nothing wrong with what Olu's saying. Olu's saying he's not going to make any overarching conclusions from this game.
No, he said I didn't take anything from the game. What is this?
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
And what is to take from the game?
Hussam, what you said
was crazy, by the way.
What you said, he corrected himself.
Hussam, did you hear me? Did you hear me
his
say
initial statement was wrong? He corrected
himself.
himself.
Nobody's wrong. Everybody had the point.
What's his initial statement?
Everybody had the right.
His initial statement was he's not taking nothing
one
from this
second.
game.
Igal, this is Olu, right? I'm Olu. I'm gonna imitate exactly what he said. This was a very good win. We beat PSV by 7 goals, but I'm not going to take any overarching conclusions from this game.
No,
that's not what he said. That's not what he said. He said, I'm not taking anything from this game.
He's here. He can ask.
Ask him.
That is literally the same thing. Like, I don't think it's like the same thing. If I say I'm taking nothing, if I'm saying no overarching, it's still the same thing. What I'm saying is
that Arsenal
like
through, Olu.
Of course, Arsenal through.
But at least you take something from this game. What are we talking about?
Right, but the point of what I start see again. This is the point. I started off with saying that PSV is so poor defensively. I can't take anything from this game. I didn't talk about us being through or not. I was talking about how PSV played in relation to the game, which is why the 7 goals are good. but it wasn't a 7 goals where we cut them up open and was like, okay, wow, this is the Arsenal. Wait, 1 second. This is the Arsenal of 2 years ago. This was, I saw diabolical PSV defense that I can't take much of that until I see Arsenal play the next few games to see if this is a different Arsenal. So it's got nothing to do with us being through or not. So us being through is by and by.
So can I ask you a
what I saw tonight.
So is it?
And before you do that, can I do something? Guys? Guys, big up everybody that joined us from the Football Terrace. Of course, there's over 750 people here. Can we get the likes to 300? Hit that like button, people. Vote in the poll that I made. Just hit that like button, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm very close to 30K, so hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, of course. And all these guys, Don Hussam channel in the description. Igal Talks Football, banter on the pitch.
How many subscribers are you away from 30K?
I think less than 60 subscribers, something like that.
Just buy them.
This move, Hussam is a Hussam.
Oh Allah.
بدري.
Yeah, anyway. Guys, can we get to 300 likes in the next 5 minutes? Can I do the super chat? Just a big up Nax Games for supporting the channel and sending the first super chat of the stream today, saying Arsenal need to spread the goals out. 12 goals in 5 games, all goals in 2 games. Highly overperforming XG isn't sustainable. Good window up the panel. That is basically what Hussam asked. Is this sustainable?
Yeah, but sustainability is.
No one's gonna think.
Hold on, sustainability is subjective though, because if your opponent, like Olu said, if PSV is playing badly and you don't capitalize on it, that's when I worry about Arsenal, because you might meet teams that are going to play badly and you have to capitalize, regardless of what we want to say. Right? This same team played against West Ham. West Ham made mistakes. We did not capitalize. This same team played against in the Premier League and they made mistakes and we did not capitalize. So the point is, we can say it's just PSV and be very pedantic about it, but like, oh, well, until I see more stuff. I've seen enough from this team to know that they never used to capitalize. And if you can now learn how to yes, they didn't. In the last 3 games, they didn't capitalize in the last 3 games on any mistake, on any errors, or even on rebound balls. Hit the bar, come out, there's nobody there. There was nobody in the 18-yard box. So my point
Can I ask you a question? I want to ask you a question. I don't want to make any statement. I just want to ask Dayo one question. Okay, everything you've said, beautiful speech. Incredible. You know, they should play it in the Arsenal dressing room. So what exactly did Olu say that's wrong? Can I understand?
I didn't say what Olu said is wrong.
So why are you both jumping at him then?
No. My issue with what Olu said, he's exaggerating his point.
But you're over-exaggerating this result?
No, I'm not.
That's not what I was talking about.
I'm not saying this result is leading to anything besides getting.
Did you hear anybody?
One at a time, so the audience can hear.
Did you hear anybody here say because of this result, Arsenal is back? They're back to win now. No.
But now you're using extreme example.
No. But all I simply said was, now in this game, what I can take away from it is that I saw an Arsenal that capitalized on PSV's mistakes, which means Olu and I both agree that PSV played poorly in defense. But I'm saying I saw an Arsenal team that capitalized on those mistakes, unlike before in the previous games. So if you're going to ask me what I took away from this game, it's a team that decided to be slightly more clinical when the other team made a mistake. And these mistakes happen in football. If you make a mistake and I can't even capitalize on it, then that's nonsense now. Secondly, I simply also said you can see patterns of play in the way we played today that you did not see against West Ham and other teams. Mikel Merino was dropping deeper today than actually being the guy starting the press, which is what we did against West Ham. He dropped a lot more deeper today and allowed Eastern Nwaneri to do the running up front, which gave more opening. So for me, I have to saying to myself, okay, well, I see a few things that you've tweaked here. They made a mistake. We capitalized on it. Of the 8 shots on target, we scored 7 that we had. 8 shots on target.
Does this game make you any more confident in this competition?
Look, in knockout tournament, I've said this from the very beginning. I think Mo has known my stance on this from the very beginning since we met. Knockout tournament, go in there and get your business done. If you can go in there and capitalize on mistakes and win the game and walk out of there, do it. Yes, it gives me confidence that we don't have 4 of our best strikers in the team. But
Sam sounds like a celebration police.